Are we live? Are we good? I think we are good. Let me refresh and make sure everything is set on our end. You can see us, you can hear us, everything. Nothing yet. YouTube taking their time. So we'll let them since we have nothing else to do.
All right.
And
We're on now.
yeah, we're on now. Okay, we are set. I really don't know how many people are going to be in here, but for those that miss it, you can just jump in later on, catch the replay, listen to it, kind of like a little podcast mode or something. We do have questions that came in from the emails. We also wanted to talk about some of the shoe sourcing and some things I wanted to talk to the B about when it comes to also just money in the US and what people are buying. And let's see who's here in the chat. Let's see, Mercurial Venom, Saxon, Pro Man, Still Kicking Sports. And Pro Man says I have to go to school.
What?
Well, I don't like that. Well, let's see, Cutthroat, what up? Yeah, I don't know about school starting. Is that's true or not? Saxon says Still Kicking It Sports. But Still Kicking says, whoa, stop right there. Mr. Eric, Sticker finds 12. And Jaime is also here. And Mr. Eric, I already said Felicia, Hustle Crow, Ecom Lifestyle, Pluto, and Victor from Santa Paula, California. Smooth Sailing, what's up? And how are you doing with selling OG Jordans? So they're selling great as far as like the turbo greens that I had. Those have gone up out of control, but
man, you should have sold it then.
You should. Well, right now they're at like 3. I think I have a couple of them that I'm still waiting till they hit like 400 range.
Well, it'll be easier there.
But Obsidian ones have gone up a lot.
Huh? You have
those have gone up a lot. I don't have those. I have turbo greens, but Obsidians have gone up a lot.
Man, but we thought people were crazy for picking up for 350, 400 at SneakerCon. Now they're like. That would have been a good investment then.
Well, that's kind of funny, though. If you want to go back to that video where we talked about Jordan 1s all in a row and which ones to invest in, it'd be interesting to go back. So maybe next week we can go back to those Jordan 1s to see where they're at now compared to where they were, was it like a month ago we did that video?
Like even Bloodlines are way up there now.
Are they? I thought some Bloodlines were going cheap.
Well, they're creeping up. Like, well, at least the good sizes. Like anything 9.5 below, it's over retail.
Okay.
You know, like considering they went clearance.
Yeah. Okay. That's something. Definitely. So Bloodline, we can look into that one too. I wanna see the numbers on that one. Mr. 89 Romeo, Red Drum, and who else? Thrifting Goomba, Neezy, Texas Pete. What's up?
Oh,
Browntown Finds.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you all. Fast Eddie. Let's see. Jordan 1 light bulbs are beautiful, underrated from Red Drum, and the Defiant Jordan 1s. So there we go. Look into that. We should look into all the numbers. We'll do that one next week since I have some things I want to talk about.
We'll do that. Kind of like do like the flood kind of thing with the kind of like the Jordan 1 version.
Yeah, and we can also see which ones we looked at last time, which is already like a month ago. I think that we looked at those.
Right.
I'm starting off the show with J. Crew. So if you would have saw the news on this.
I didn't see that, so you gotta inform me with this one.
Okay, so this is hard to read, but I'll read it to you. J. Crew is now bankrupt. What? So they filed on Monday and hopes the move will help get its finances in order while the company keeps running through for now under COVID-19 restrictions. They operate 181 J. Crew stores, 140 Madewell stores, and 170 J. Crew factory stores. So they say, according to this website, though, they're saying that, of course, the virus has left stores and malls shut for weeks. Many retailers have struggled to keep up with their bills and is particularly painful for companies that were already in financial distress. So J. Crew being one of them, J.C. Penney and Neiman Marcus, Sears, and Brooks Brothers. I didn't even know Sears. I thought they closed.
They already filed bankruptcy, and I think they were just trying to liquidate, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And JCPenney, I know, has been closed. We have like a bigger JCPenney that's like its own store, not in any mall.
Right.
and it's been closed, of course, for what, month and a half already, or month,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that store. I thought it's already been kind of closing for a while.
Right.
Brooks Brothers, we have a Brooks Brothers outlet store at our outlets,
Mm.
but I don't think it's that popular. I don't know. What do you
Right.
think?
Well, because a lot of this were like there's a mall. There were mall stores, right? Most of this stuff, and I think like that era has gone and passed. And if the stores, really they haven't really made strides on trying to, make it an e-commerce platform or do some sort of brand boosting, right? Or make it like a collab or something like that. Um, like maybe what Coach would do or have been doing, right? They try to bring in more traffic with doing collabs with Disney, which is different stuff. And I think a lot of this are just like the older generation brand. So, they're definitely good. They're definitely struggling.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that, with those stores and all the other stores too. I mean, who really knows what kind of like financial mess they were in before
True.
COVID? So I guess we'll find out with
Yeah,
those.
COVID was like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, pretty much. Thrifting Goomba, any tribute to Don Shula? I know, Don Shula, 2020, just the worst year ever. So legendary. Most winningest coach ever. Dolphins history. I think NFL Network's playing all day Dolphins.
Wow,
So
I didn't know that.
so tune into that if you can. After this show, though. Not right now. Greater Girl Boss. Happy Monday. And Sears have been closing for decades. Texas Pete Ross still going strong.
Exactly.
Exactly. Despite them not opening yet. Now, have you heard anything as far as any stores?
Mm-mm. Nope, news. Well, one is no news, and I don't want to find out because I'm just gonna get disappointed.
Okay, so he's just waiting. He's chilling for now.
Right.
Let's see. I thought Ross was opening on the 3rd of May from Jaime. I haven't heard anything. I've been checking. Nothing yet. Maybe we'll find out some news. Maybe we'll make it more public or something, but nothing. Let me see. Still grabbing a good amount every time they restock. Talking about, I think, let me see. GS Mid Chicago's got 6 of them, all starters. Fire Red 5's restocked like 8 times already, which is what we're also going to talk about here. Come to DFW area. Everything is open. You can get a haircut. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And J. Crew needs to call Travis Scott for a collab. They'll definitely bounce back. Quit with all the nonsense. Open Ross, Burlington, and Marshalls. Now smooth sailing. So leads me into, we had a question that came in. Whoa, I need to get this out of the way. We're focusing on this middle one right here. So I had a question regarding online sourcing. We had someone that asked, it might have been in the chat or maybe in the email, how are you guys sourcing online? Are you sourcing online? And what sites are you looking at? Those type of questions. Now, first I'm going to throw it out there to the chat. We'll talk about it. Are you sourcing online? What are you sourcing? What are you looking at? Now, here's an example of Finish Line, which is probably one of the sites you're going on. A lot of people are sourcing Finish Line, maybe Nike Outlet, the apps that are going, some cheaper deals, kind of getting that. But the only thing is, a lot of people are going to the same sites. Now, here's my example I'm showing because today, extra 30% off with the code SPRING30. You can still use that Finish Line right now. So they had the LeBron 17 James Gang extra 30, came out to like $98, but plus tax, plus shipping was still $117.
Right.
So if you're looking on, let's say StockX, most of them $125. I think 8 or 9 was like $120. It's like this. The only thing is LeBron 17 in general, I think only the red carpet actually sold out. Everything else has been sitting there.
For sure.
And so even if some deals seem pretty good, $98, but plus tax, plus shipping, still kind of a lot added to that. It's like, do we really want to make those kind of purchases on this shoe? I mean, this shoe this colorway might even go to the outlets. Might even hit Ross, down the road.
I think they'll hit the outlets for sure.
Let me see what the chat says, and then we'll go back to the B. Let me see. If you want a good read, check out Simon Property Group website for their reopening plans and layout changes. All right, I'll definitely look at that. I know our mall is like a Simon mall, not the outlet, but the regular mall. And that one, they already had some rules, but nothing with layout changes. So I'll look at that. Dom G. Sourcing foot sites inhibit mainly cheaper sale shoes online, mainly sourcing Jordans that will build equity. See, sourcing shoes online, definitely. I take it this way unless it's a high tier shoe. Would I buy at Burlington, Marshalls, Ross, Nike Outlet at this price? OG Jordan 1's going up for sure. Tennessee fam, what's up? Neezy and Felicia. Let me see. And on eBay, Cutthroat says I'm straight lowballing right now and seeing what kind of deals they can scoop up. Now, B, I know you've been on Finish Line.
Yeah.
I know you did do a little bit Nike. Anything else you're kind of looking at right now?
I did that like maybe like what first, I think the first week, second week of April. Um, I did buy a bunch, about maybe in Finish Line about 50 pairs. Nike about maybe 50 to 60 as well. Um, and I really like. I felt like I should have went harder on a certain shoe, right? Because the thing is like we really don't know how many they have.
Yeah.
So a certain shoe I would have gone right 20, 30 pairs, but if I knew they only had 50, I would have bought all.
Yeah.
So that's really the downside of online, right? It's no secret that everybody sees it as well. It's just a matter of getting to it first. And also too, we are competing with the the consumers, right? We're competing with other sneakerheads, not just resellers. So that kind of makes it a little bit complicated, because not all of them are assuming is going to sell them on eBay, right?
Yeah.
So how many of them are just buying it to rock, and how many of them are just buying it to sell? And of course, we really won't see the sold and completed listings until what, a week or two down the road,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the tricky part. Because if it was a hot shoe that all Burlingtons are outlet, we'll definitely see them within a week.
Yeah. That's very true.
Right. So now everybody's taking a week or two later before they get the items in, and they get to list it. So I did source, but currently I have let off the gas, and I am on a cash saving mode right now. Ready to purchase more inventory once things get back to start opening.
So a couple of things I wanted to say. So first off, I know you did well on like I think it was like an Air Max Plus or something. You
Emma
did really
Plus,
good on
yeah,
that one.
yeah,
And those did sell out on the site. So that also helps. I mean, you
right,
see the site, they sold out. You
yeah,
picked up, let's say 50 pairs.
mm,
Then you can go back to that. Like, all right, cool. Maybe only size 14, 15's left. And like, all right,
mm,
cool. I'm kind of safe here. But like you said, we don't know. Are they going to restock again down the road? And then you're like, oh man, now I have to compete. Now looking at new releases, Court Purple also restocked today on Finish Line.
right.
We had Fire Red 5s
And
again.
pine green too.
Pine Green did
Yeah,
restock. DMPs have been coming back. Now, with these new releases, they keep coming back because, at least I would think, all of these should have been going to the malls.
right.
Malls aren't open. So it's kind of like these sites are just restocking, almost seems like every 2 to 3 days.
Yeah. I think they're just like texting each other, "Hey, finish line, I'll restock them today. Your turn tomorrow."
Yeah, champs the next day. Because it's always like one site, and
Yeah.
then they're just going
Yeah,
against
and
till they
then
run
the
out.
whole world goes to that site and crashes the site.
So it's gonna be interesting on these. Core Purples, DMPs restock like 100 times. Sneaker Finds 12. But going back up, I think someone said, who said they were still picking up, certain Jordans, things like that, just kind of building them up. Now, if you have the capital to do it, and you're really gonna hold on for the long run, then down the road you could probably cash out on those. But we know that it's not going to be anytime soon. With DMPs,
Yeah,
Fire Red 5s, that kind of stuff. If you're picking them up, 200 plus tax
right,
plus
right.
shipping or whatever.
Because I think like there's a concept of like buying it as like an investment that it will go up, right? But there's this thing what we call in economics. Let me get my Professor Ken hat on. It's called opportunity cost, right? So what are you giving up in sacrifices of this certain opportunity of this certain shoe to go up? For example, Jordan 1, right? What if I go hard on like bloodline ones, right? They went on sale. They were 140 and stuff like that. If I went hard on that, right, using a big chunk of my capital, uh, and then waiting for bloodlines to go hit 250, right, to get $50 uh, profit, I am giving up the potential profit of a certain item that's going to pop up. For example, like some Kyries that pop up for $50. So
Yeah.
now I'm invested on Jordan ones, long term, 3 to 6 months. Now I'm giving up the opportunity to buy the Kyrie and quick flip the Kyrie for $30 profit within 3 months.
Yeah.
So that's the opportunity cost that I think as business people we have to be mindful of, and I think that's where we become gun shy, right? Like, what if I go all in on this and something pops up tomorrow or the next day, and I can't buy it. So
Yeah.
I think it's there's a I don't think there's any perfect balance, but I think it's based on the comfortability of your finances and your knowledge, and just like, well, if you mess up, you mess up. You just have to wait till everything sells out.
And I think Mr. Eric says DMP's fire at fives not so much. Jordan 1 highs and mids, yes. And that's the thing that we're looking at quality of shoe. So like this LeBron 17, even though it's on sale, is this a quality shoe that you feel, confident to invest in? Probably not. I mean, compared to like a Jordan 1 higher mid, even if you did get a size 11 or 12, the popularity is there. People have that interest in them. LeBron 17, even when the economy was great, let's say even during Christmas time, LeBron 17, some of them were already out. They weren't even selling that great, even going into January, even start of February. So it's like, I don't know. Going to the outlet stuff though, people saying, if DMP's fire at fives, they could hit the outlets. We don't know how many are in stock. That's the problem. We don't know how many of them out there.
Right.
Let me see. Let me go back up in here. Oh, because people were saying, what they've been picking up and where they've been sourcing. Faith Lopez says picking up off Mercari, and Felicia says, let me see. Only place I source at right now, Plato's Closet. And we also talked about, like Walmart and some of the stores that were open. People that did well on weights, still doing well on weights, or video games, or those type of items. You can still do good on those. I don't know how many of them are really out there now at this point, which is probably running low. I found that Nintendo Switch randomly. I don't know if I'll ever find one again, but then keep trying. But then I can't really tell you, like, oh yeah, you missed this opportunity to do this and that or whatever, because some people already had that mindset, like, I have kids, or I have, let's say grandma or grandpa living in the house with me. Regardless, whatever opportunity was out there, I'm not going, period, because of what's going on. I want to stay safe. And I think that's fine. Like, I can't tell you you're missing out on money because of,
Right.
Your health is going to be more important. But it's totally up to you if you want to make that, that drive or going out there, your call.
Right.
Let me see. Gabe's has been open.
Wow.
Let's see.
I didn't know that.
And
Well, Gabe's trash anyway.
Gabe, Hustle Crow still killing it on the weights.
Somebody said Mercado NYC, True Blues were at the outlet. Check now on StockX. Right. I mean, but how long ago were True Blues? How long ago was that?
I don't even know.
3 years at least. But again, you're looking at a 3-year turnaround on an investment.
Yeah, we did. We did the 1 year breakdown on.
Yeah.
What was it? Some of the foam posits from Ross, things like that.
Right.
Women's foams. Let me go back in here. No fear when flipping is near. Flip the script. All right, let me go back to where I'm getting to. So this is the last remaining, at least that we know of, Jordan-wise, that's coming out for May. Or May the 4th right now. We have May the 9th. We have the Jordan 1 Game Royal. And then we have just a slew of these Jordan 4s, random metallics, purple, green, red, and orange. I think they were based off of like old school Jordan 1s.
Yeah, Jordan 1
put it to the 4s.
I mean, man, they could have put a little bit more color to it. Come on now. It's it's COVID time. You're gonna give us something plain right off the bat. You walk out, everybody be wearing white shoes like they're nurses.
Well, the problem is these were already set to come out, before this happened.
True.
Now that this happened, this is going to be even worse. I think the outlets are going to be flooded with these four. I don't see
All kind of
these selling
colors.
that great at all.
Yeah.
Going to the Flint 13s, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this shoe, but now we're running into the same situation with Fire Red 5s and DMPs to where they are GR. There's a lot of them out there. I can see this shoe selling out on sneakers in the first day, and then they're just going to get restocked for the next 2 weeks right after that, just like the other shoes that we just saw.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I like the metallic red 4s. White shoes are for nursing students, Mr. Eric. Let me see. I'm glad I stocked on Concord when they dropped. Kent, RBX for life. Let's see. Stevie D, what's up? My death pile is so big, I don't need to source for months.
Wow. That's like a good idea. Well, you better get to it because we're gonna be opening the next month or so.
Chicago 1s and Concords price skyrocketed since the last dance started. Kids learning about Jordan now.
Yeah, like I think they got inspired.
Like, oh, I guess this Michael Jordan character really was that good.
Yeah, I guess he's a character too. And then like now my aunts and uncle will care about me more because I'm rocking their shoes.
Yeah. All of a sudden, they know all the history. They're history buffs.
Right. Yeah.
So here's my question, though. Going into July, now the reason why we
Why?
say
Wait
July.
a minute.
What?
Wait a minute. Why July?
Well, July. Hold on.
Okay.
July right now is because that's where the PPP gave small businesses money to last until. So let's say what happens when we get into July. What type of money is left there? Now, going further into October, that's when some of the ones that didn't qualify have to pay that money back.
In October?
Yeah, in October.
Okay.
Now, will more jobs be lost then during that time? We don't know. As of right now, people have money. That's all that's important. But the sourcing isn't what it used to be. So now it's kind of like a weird little balance there. It's kind of like gas prices being low, but yet you have nowhere to go.
Yeah, and also too, right? Like I think the unemployment, right? The plus 600 on unemployment ends in what? In June?
Well, I think Yaroslav says same with unemployment. The additional money is until the end of July.
Okay.
So July is kind of like a targeted month here.
Man, so we're hitting to August, and everybody just run dry, huh?
So I think we're going to be interested there. The funny thing is, a lot of states, at least what I could see, they're aiming for like a 4th of July type of thing to where we have our freedom again. And which I think it first started off as a joke, and now it's kind of like a targeted date that people are trying to get this whole situation finally dealt with, that we can go out and be happy and celebrate our freedom.
Right.
And which I think immediately after that, they're going to be like, oh yeah, but second wave, guys, time to go back in. So I don't know how July is going to look at, but this was very interesting. So most Americans lack savings.
Okay.
Now in the chat, you can tell me how do you feel about this. B will let me know how he feels about this. Okay. So they ask, this was a survey conducted in November. So how much money do you have in your savings? 45% say zero. So they're, running off their checking and whatever cash they have on hand. 24% less than $1,000, which I know how this feels. I was on this track when I was working at the university. 12%, 1,000 to 5,000. Now, all the other ones, 5,000 to 50,000 or more, we're at 5%, 5%, 4%, 6%. So, yes, zero money in your savings isn't going to take you very far. But, oh, man, I mean, less than 1,000, 24%. Man, we're also looking at people that aren't really looking to build upon that money.
Right.
But maybe with bars closed and things like that, there's less money to be spent on.
It just like, to be more transparent, when I used to work, right, when I had my job, when me and my wife were getting a paycheck, we were at that 24%. Less than $1,000 extra.
That's where I was for a
Yeah,
long ass time.
yeah. Um, and I think it's easier to be there because if you're just working, right, you just put in the hours. It's kind
Mhm.
of like a slot machine, right? Like you just can't keep losing. You can't lose with when I had my job. That's what I felt like. Just put in the hours, right? Do whatever, and then every 2 weeks you get my paycheck and everything like that. And I really didn't realize the importance of it until I started trying to grow the business. Um, and of course, there's a lot of variables, but to make it simple, when it's business, it's on your own, right? Everything's your problem when you're running a business. So uh, that is very hard, you know, but that's why it's called just in case, right?
Yeah.
In case anything happens, just in case corona happens and we're gonna be stuck for 3 months. I mean, honestly, like I really didn't want to sell my Travis Scotts, but I had to sell it because it was my just in case money.
Yeah.
Stash that on the side. Just I'm a lot more comfortable now. If everything really does shut down and eBay gets shut down for corona, just some crazy reason, we're like we can survive. So that's very insightful.
Well, the thing is that I mean, I do agree. If you're putting in the hours of the regular job, then yes, you're probably going to be around this range because you get the same amount every single month. You get one check, it's the same amount. One check, same amount.
Mhm.
And so, whatever money that you're used to having after all the bills, it's like that's just the money that's there. You can reinvest in other things, but most people don't want to.
Mhm.
And whatever money I did have when I was 24%, I put that money in to reinvest other things. Then I was at 45%, which was zero because I had all my money in,
Right.
items that I thought would bring me more money. So investing in things like that. But looking at this chart though, like Stevie D said, that's sad. Sneaker Friends 12. Wow. I mean, it is pretty sad though, because not for the reason that maybe people don't or didn't have a job. This is in November. The thing is, what were they spending their money on? And that came down to, like you said, going to bars or buying liquor and partying. And I mean, shots can go quick. Like I had a friend that he was like, I can't spend any money, blah blah blah. Some other friends wheeled him in. Next thing you know, he spent like 250 on shots. And he was like, yeah, now I'm like completely screwed. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But it was a fun night. Well, the night's over, and now you're definitely screwed.
Right.
Um, but here, I want to see. That's why I kind of wanted to relate this on new releases that are coming out. Prices are going up on Jordan 1s. What's going to happen in July? How much money do people have now? And maybe the virus did help them as far as how they're spending money and looking at money and maybe realizing, hey, I really don't need this kind of stuff. I'm saving now. I'm kind of being on top of things when it comes to my money. Let me see. Flip the script. A lot of strip clubs. Let's see. A lot of Korean barbecue, Mr. Eric. Let's see, Dom G. That data needs to be correlated graphic related to credit card, student loan debt, plus car mortgage payments, which might help explain the lower percentages.
I mean, that is also true. I mean, if it's hard to save when you have a really high, I would say, household operational expense. Right? And you have a bougie house, bougie car, bougie everything, and you're paying monthly on it. That's that's where struggle really hits. Like we talk about this. Like the goal is really to get out of debt and just to make millions. Unless that debt is making you money, there shouldn't be any point that you should be on that debt.
Well, in this case, I didn't have anything bougie or anything because I had student loans. Things things are just adding up.
That was the bougie on you. Hey, I'm going to school.
I know. All right, cool. Pork belly is elevating my heart rate, Mr. Eric. Oh man. So Oh, I had some of the questions that came in, so we'll go into that. Anything else anybody wants to say about? Oh, did we go over Fire Red Fives? We did a little bit,
Mm.
just on all the restocks coming in. But anything else you want to say about money wise and some of the new releases coming out? Anything in the chat before we go on to the questions?
Yeah,
Also, if you have any questions, throw them in now. B, anything you want to say?
I think skip all the other Jordans. Just try to buy Jordan once.
At this point, just invest
Buy
in
the
Jordan.
hype B, right? Since I'm the hype B, all right, just buy the Jordan once.
Well, the same. I think little rules still come into play. I mean, Bread 11s, Concord 11s, a lot of the OG colorways will stay there.
Right,
Fire Red Fives were, but fives aren't like a big time shoe people can rock with anything.
right,
So like
right.
threes and fours, I think will always
It's not
stick
the.
the
It's not like the urban. What do you call the streetwear? It's not the streetwear. Uh, like kind of shoe.
So I think, I mean, ones, threes, fours, I think you'll be fine, and especially a great colorway. Fives and six are a little iffy. I think 7 through 10 aren't going to really matter. And then once you get to 11, definitely 12 kind of depends. 13s, you're kind of starting to go downhill a little bit.
Right.
Cinco de Mayo tomorrow, C forwards. And let me see what else. How does DTLR not charge sales tax? That's a good question. B, are you selling any cleats right now? I have some that are sadly sitting on the shelf. Revolution Hustler.
The only cleats I'm selling are the ones that I'm clearancing out. 20
Man,
20 to $40 cleats. Get out of my house.
cleats are now golf selling well right now.
Right.
Soccer cleats are extremely tough.
Well, like I think what we have, Glenn, is like the high end soccer cleats. We're not really trying to move because it's expensive, right? And nobody's being able to use it, right? Because like they're gonna probably rock the high end cleats on the game day, right? On the match day.
Yeah.
Uh, well, it's either that or you're left with a bad buy cleats that you've had for a long time. That's why I'm just trying to let him go for 20 to $40.
Yeah, because the high end stuff, I'm looking for at least 100 in the low end to not pay fees. And even then, I'm like, I don't really want to let them go that cheap. But 100 right now on cleats isn't even technically cheap because they were paying big money. But with this going on,
Yeah,
they're just not spending that money on the cleats.
yeah, exactly. I'm evicting low end cleats in my house.
Here's a question. Actually, all of these are from Dapper Fanatic. So he had a bunch of questions he sent me through email that he wanted to cover. Meanwhile, you can throw in whatever questions you want in the chat. So he says, I'm refreshing some listings on eBay, moving away from best offer and just straight up buy it now. I've always been a fan of best offer, but moving towards buy it now listings allows me to set my lowest ask price, force immediate payment, and get away from haggling. What are your thoughts? I think I'll mix and match on eBay. Some straight buy now, others with best offer option. I hope it doesn't mean lower sales, though. I'm typically extremely patient.
Mm.
So you go, and then I'll go on what I think
Yeah,
about this.
my answer for this is very simple because the the stuff that I sell without best offers are the ones that I'm mostly really fixed on getting out of soon, right? Canceling the best offer negotiation, and I'm just thinking about, I just want to make $10 or $20 or $30 on this item. This is my bottom price. Get out of here.
Yeah,
That's how I look at my listings. But when I have items that I've paid like $30 and comps are like $150, right? Like extreme ROI. That's most likely when I have my best offer. Just because, I'm not gonna block myself of, making three times the money, right? $30 item could easily sell at 110 while everybody is asking 150 or 140, right? And then that's when I open up the negotiation. People sending me $100 offer on a 150 item. I'm willing to go, halfway with them to 125 just to make that sale without fees. So that's how I look at the best offer in right now.
I guess because you never know. I mean, you don't want to like limit yourself to certain buyers if a right buyer does come around, because
Okay.
we've seen it too, to where we have like a zero feedback buyer that does do the buy it now
Mhm.
and ends up working out.
Right.
But typically, zero buy feedback buyers were like, don't really want to risk it. But sometimes it does work out. Meanwhile, you also have some best offers that we have someone that's like you said, maybe they are offering 110. You had it on there for 130, maybe 150, and you can kind of wiggle room and kind of figure something out. But if you didn't have that best offer option, you don't want to lose out on a sale like that.
Mhm.
So my thing was I'm doing best offer on everything regardless. And
Okay.
that's just because eBay was saying that they were gonna like push up those on what is
Best.
it called? Yeah, best match. As long as you have a best offer. Now it doesn't mean that I'm actually going to look at all the best offers, because I've had some like best offers, even though it's like might be somewhat close, that could still be my lowest end price. And I'm not even really actually listening to the offers. So like
Right.
when I listed that Nintendo Switch, like I already had, it's a high end item that people really want right now. I'm
Right.
obviously not going to run any type of, you know, ads or anything to get people to come and see it. They're going to see it.
Mm.
But as long as I have a best offer, maybe they'll look at it thinking, hey, maybe there's something there, whatever, and get people to look at it. But I was like, someone's just going to do a buy it now, which they did. So I didn't even have to look at those offers. So I think I don't really would get away from it in general, but just because you don't know who's coming in to look at that item. But I do get it that, you know, the immediate payment thing is still a problem. That's probably also why is I kind of wants to get away from that.
Yep. Yep. So I think it's just whatever, Um, uh, surprisingly, if you really look at it in a bigger perspective, it's not really that bad. Like, I make out of 100, there's probably only two unpaid cases. So, it's not bad, 2%, so it is what it is.
Well, Corona's like 2% death rate. So you're
Right.
saying it's not that bad.
Well,
You're like, no, this is totally different things. We're talking about listings, damn it.
yeah. Why you always gotta generalize things, man?
All right, Hustle Crow says I have two best offer sales from Saturday not paid yet.
Yeah.
Which that's probably the biggest thing here is like just getting kind of tired of that,
Yeah,
which I agree. I mean,
I think you gotta come up with a template. I we have a template. It's like, hey, please send the payment now so we can ship it out. If you're like, create something like, if you don't want this, let me know so I can cancel the transaction.
yeah.
I think you just have to be straightforward and not just ignore it and keep it hanging there. Because eventually the buyer's probably gonna be like, all right, I'm double checking. I'm not gonna, I have a guy. I accepted his best offer on a shoe, right? And as soon as I accepted it, 5 minutes later, that dude wants me to cancel. I said, okay, cancel. Another minute later, the same exact item sold on Go.
Hmm.
So it's the same dude. I really think it's the same dude. He just wants to have it's $150 shoe, so maybe he wants to have authenticity or something like that. So I
True.
said, okay, whatever floats your boat. He probably saved what, $5 on code, but whatever.
Jaime says, what scale do y'all use for eBay shipping?
The best seller on Amazon, the $13 one.
I think, oh, didn't eBay give us a scale? Do you
Yeah.
have that one still or no?
Are you using that one?
Yeah, it's just that, I mean, it's just like a plain black digital
Yeah.
scale. I mean, it's nothing
You
fancy.
have to put batteries on that one.
When I originally read this question, I thought, like, how do you scale up for shipping? Like,
Man, be serious, man. Goals on goals. Goals
uh,
over everything.
let me go to. Speaking of shipping, though, I mean, right now I'm just trying to go through like every site. I mean, everyone says like going through pirate ship and everything. Like, I think going through that, going through FedEx, going through like, there's so many different options now, and prices are so random. Like,
Mhm.
every item could be different depending on like what it is. I mean, for the most part, pirate ship is going to be way cheaper than anything on eBay. But
Right.
so you never know. You have to go through all the options now, which
Right.
is probably why people love StockX and Go because just give you the
Yeah, that's true.
label.
I mean, I mean, that's why I say it again. If you're really hurting for that dollar, $2 shipping difference, you gotta reevaluate your profits,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
If that's costing you really that much of a pain,
yeah.
you might want to increase your profits.
I got more questions coming in. If you would score 5 switches from Wally World right now for retail, would you do it? Yes. Next one
Yeah, or just for IG for the gram.
for the I message non-payers with no feedback and tell them I'll cancel after 24 hours. Is that hurting my listing numbers?
Um, you shouldn't cancel it without the buyer saying they want to cancel.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing you do want is for them. I mean, but you're also expecting them to answer your question, which most of them don't, because
Right.
maybe they don't know how to use eBay, or maybe I don't know, they're just non-responsive. So in that case, you might have to just wait it out.
Yeah,
And
just like Neezy said there, uh, tell to cancel as per the request.
let's see, do you think it's worth to start selling on the same sneakers on eBay as a beginner that I already sell on the other popular apps?
No,
Why?
I just because you're trying to build feedback. I mean, beginner being maybe you have zero feedback or really low feedback.
Yeah.
I would pump that feedback up with cheaper items just to build transaction history.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree. Cheap ass items. Also buying cheap items. You can buy and sell cheap items for eBay.
yeah,
Try to get that feedback up. But just
yeah,
starting off with higher end shoes,
yeah.
it is gonna be a little riskier on that. Let me see. Let me go back. Man, where are we? This thing refreshes and I lost them. And what do you do when your account gets suspended for taking stock pictures?
See, this is the thing, right? Like we've always been a proponent of not using stock photos ever
Mhm.
since we started.
Even though there are some big sneaker sellers that have stock photos that
Yeah, I mean,
super makes sense.
have at it, and I really just think that it's not worth the risk because at that point it's a copyright issue, right? We're using somebody's photo that they paid for. Anybody really can go after a photo that they have rights on, and they could easily get your listings reported. And if eBay gets too much of it, and if they're gonna get tired of it, they're just gonna suspend that seller.
And eventually maybe even get rid of the seller.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. Some companies don't care, but is it really the kind of Russian roulette you want to play?
yeah, we don't know. I would think, once you do come back from suspension, start off slow on the pictures. Like you don't have to rush into it. If that's something that you're not really or haven't really been doing.
Mhm.
But you should be taking your own pictures. And I mean, clothing does suck, but shoes are a little bit easier to take the photos of. But you know what does suck is eBay's uploader.
Why?
Like it used to be
Faster?
no, it actually really was slower. But for some reason, like when I upload, like photos come out like weird, like they come out this way instead of this way.
Yeah.
And it didn't used to do that, and then it started to do it, and then it went back to like being normal, and then now it's doing it again. And I tried doing all these different things to figure it out, and
It's a Corona, bro.
the corona. Just blame everything on that.
Right. Right. Right.
Let me go in the next one. Man, where are we? Oh, Poshmark gives you the label for Astro. Astro Drip says on that one. For people that don't like it, eBay's uploader is glitchy as hell. Really, eBay really needs to do something about non-payers. It's one of the main things that's hurting eBay. Damn
Well,
right.
that's what the what do you call that? The managed payment's supposed to do.
What happens when eBay suggests using stock photos for non-sneaker items? Does that apply to this as well?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
What
No.
you're talking about, Mercurial Venom, is what eBay is trying to do. This has been a program that they've been trying to get up and running. Well, maybe 2 years ago, Glenn. It was the cataloging. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
They're trying to make it like an Amazon feel that everybody lists under the same photo, or, but, but hey, it's been 2 years and he hasn't really been. it hasn't took off, at least in our category. I know they did it in other categories to start with, mostly the smaller categories, but it hasn't really crossed over to our category.
Next question. And then we'll go back to the chat. We're gonna throw in questions on there. Juan, what's up? Brown dude. Cross listing. Do you guys do it manually? Use third party app extensions? I want to I want to cross post more to Mercari and Posh, but don't always have the time. Since both of you are full time, I'm guessing you do cross listings manually. I may look into list perfectly.
So I think both me and Glenn do manual. This is something that we talked about with still kicking sports. I think about it. If you're doing it, if you're a full time seller, or maybe 50% full time or whatnot, unless you have over 1,000 listings, um, it's very I wouldn't say easy, but it's very doable to cross list it manually. We I don't use any third party app extension, but if there was something just based on me and Glenn talked about before, list perfectly has been used by a few of our friends in our circle.
Yeah, and then Mr. Eric says, if you don't have the time to cross post, can you really manage all your listings when it sells on one platform?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I think if you're trying to catch up and you do have 1,000 plus listings or a bunch of listings like that, you can definitely look into something like List Perfectly to try to get it done. But if you're listing, let's say like you and your wife are listing and you have everything you have to take pictures of, and I just do everything all at once. It's like the photos are already there on my phone. I can really just do it quickly on Mercari anyway.
Mhm.
But I don't really do Poshmarks. I guess but you're doing Poshmark. So let's say, but doing it all at once, I think it's probably going to be your fastest thing, because and then everything's uploaded all together.
Yeah, plus all your data is right in front of you already. So that's what my wife does. She just copies everything off of one listing to another. I mean, it's just a simple copy paste kind of job at that point, really. I mean, I also agree with Mr. Eric. I mean, you can't really manage if you can't manage it. Just doing that, I think you really can't manage your inventory properly.
Let's see, Texas Pete takes minutes to cross list manually. Quit sleeping on Poshmark, Glenn, for real. Astro Drip. Flip the script says, anyone have issues at times making variation listings for multiple sizes? Sometimes it forces you to select a size even though you went through the steps. Then
Yeah,
I come back and it's fine.
yeah. Oh, see, like there's a lot of downside with the variation listing with if you talk about eBay, because when you're running sales, it gets tricky when you're adding and subtracting quantity. It's a lot longer process. So that's one of the main reasons why we only stick with quantity and not variations.
I can't stand variation. You know what? Not only as a seller, but a buyer too. Because if I'm trying to I see like, oh, there's a good deal. And then what happens? You click on it and it's like, it's a grade school shoe, not a men's shoe. Or like, oh, it's a cool deal on a jersey. And
Yeah.
I look at it and they only have 2X and they only have one left. And all the other variations that were there are all gone.
Yep.
So I don't know. I like it better just individual listings.
Yeah.
And even I could see the size on the actual title.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then I know I don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so let me see. Neezy says, I'm noticing that eBay is letting sellers reply to negative feedback. Is that a new feature?
No, that's been there for a while.
Yeah, it's been there. The bad thing is you're not removing negative feedback, you're just responding. Then it makes
So,
you look like an ass, like on some of the
yeah,
responses.
no, I'm right. No, I'm right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
No,
can we just get rid of this?
oh, you just can't wait.
Yeah. What do you mean the item was dirty? It's brand new. All right, let me see. How do you fix oh, how do you fix the glitch on Mercari when listing sneakers? Sometimes it asks you to choose the exact model, name of the model, but not all models are available. I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that. I think you just have to redo it, and then I don't know. My wife has done it multiple times, and we've ran into it. Um, but that's a good question. I think you can leave it blank,
I think it depends on the category that you're in
right?
because
Sometimes it ask, right? Sometimes they let you bypass it, right?
yeah, because if you're in a different category, I think the what was the example? I think I had certain cleats, and I was either in like sports slash cleats, and then it didn't ask me. But when I was in like athletic or something, it asked me. So I think it depends on the category you're in.
Right.
So you could change that and see if that helps.
Yeah, some
But I
people.
have seen just like weird names for them. It's like this is not the item.
Some people said you could use other. So I guess you got to
Mhm.
scroll down.
Just do other for all of them.
Right.
Let me see. Do you all put the same price per item on different platforms? Let's see.
No,
Air Jordan 1, 333 on GOAT, 333 on eBay.
no. So they can't find my store. I'm just joking.
This guy.
No, I am more. My pricing is a lot more competitive on platforms that don't have returns.
Hmm. Yeah,
AK.
because I also don't want to deal with that stuff for
Right,
eBay.
right, right.
But I would say no as well. The funny thing is that you can see. I mean, GOAT is usually already higher than StockX for the
Mhm.
most part,
Right.
and then eBay is kind of random because it depends who's selling it and what they have. They also could be higher, but also they're not paying the fees.
Hmm.
So sometimes that comes into play maybe on your numbers.
Right.
So I
I
think
think,
all three of them are probably going to be different.
yeah, I think you got to consider your competition too, right? Like if eBay has somebody selling for 100, and then the next guy is already at 150. If you really want to sell it, I wouldn't be pricing it 100. I'll price it at 140, right? Because as soon as the 100 is gone, you're next.
Yeah.
So I think, well, that's the reason why we like eBay. You know, even though with beyond all their faults, we still like eBay because of this kind of data that we can get.
See, Felicia says I price way higher on Poshmark because Poshmark charges 20% selling fees.
Yeah,
What do you think about the selling fees? I mean, you're on Poshmark.
yeah. Well, if you think about it, selling fees. If you look at your data on eBay, on your selling costs, you will see it there. Your selling costs after fees, if you're paying fees, right, uh, on eBay, and if you're doing free shipping, um, it is almost the same as Poshmark. It just feels more because eBay, you really get the whole money, right
Yeah.
off the bat, but you still gotta pay shipping out, and you still gotta pay the fees out. That's it's the same if you're doing free shipping.
Okay, so there we go. And Nizi says hacks of those brilliant orange Kobe 80s made it back home yet. Man, I really hope those will come back.
Yeah, don't speak yet because you gotta wait for that feedback.
Still Kicking Sports wants to jump on. Where's the anybody wants to jump on? We'll
Let's
throw this link on here. We'll throw the link.
yeah,
And there it is. So let
let's
me get this screen share out of the way.
some people.
Yeah, so there we go. Um, Let me go back on here. Anybody using a bot to share on Posh?
No, Carlos.
No. Carlos. Smooth Sailing. I hate when people say your shoes are fake when they're not, and then return them jacked up, and eBay says that's just life. Authenticity is opinion based because Nike don't approve of nobodies.
Yeah, yeah. We don't talk about that.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing though with eBay when you're selling like higher end shoes. I know someone sent me a message. I responded. And I need to go back to the email part. I forgot what they returned them, but it was a higher end shoe, and they were trying to get out of it. And then we have to go to the percentage thing that we said. It's like 50%. So I mean, it sucks when it comes to that. Still Kicking Sports.
Yo, yo,
And he's
yo.
on. What's
What's going
up?
on, guys?
How's life?
Thank, not bad. Thank you for finally introducing me correctly for the very first time.
Oh man,
I'm just joking. I'm just busting
ever
chops.
since that day. I'm 100%.
Yeah.
I've noticed. Hey, we've all noticed, because if you were to slip up once,
Everybody.
somebody would be on you.
Exactly.
So I missed the show last week, and I said I had a story for you guys. When I was on 2 weeks ago, we talked about GOAT and how people were having trouble getting their money back, things like that, when they would sell something. And at the time, I was on vacation mode, and I said, after our conversation, I thought about all of our comments, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to take it back off vacation mode, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 hours, I sold 2 pairs of shoes, and I'm like, great. I take it off vacation mode, they sell, and I won't see that money for God only knows when.
Right.
So I ship them out. I'm in Pennsylvania, so all my stuff goes to New Jersey. They were checked in, everything. I had the money back maybe a little bit slower than normal, but so I don't know if it's maybe those that have to ship to Los Angeles or something like that, but at least for me, shipping them to New Jersey. I just thought it was crazy that here we are. We just talked about it. I take it off, and 2 pairs pop, because I don't sell a ton on GOAT, but it was just crazy the way we were talking about it.
What happened was New Jersey got packed with orders, and then they had to shut it down, and then everybody routed to California, and California got packed.
Right.
And in a few days, like 15 of my items cleared in New Jersey. So right after that, I went back to New Jersey again, and everything's been normal. So now I feel like I don't have any money coming in, because you know how you have pending, waiting all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Now I don't have pending much. Like I'm like now freaking out. Like I'm not selling.
Well, I'm used to it, because I sell, like I said to you guys last time, I sell on other platforms. So like I sell on Poshmark, that always gets held until you rate your buyer, and then it gets released. So I'm used to that aspect of it. Again, it was just funny how we were talking about it, and within, like I said, in like 3 hours, 2 pairs of shoes went. So I just wanted to pass that along. And then I saw one of the questions someone was asking about cross listing, and we talked about this the last time too. And I just wanted to add my 2 cents again. People can take it, leave it, whatever. But I don't think you need to spend money on another product. Just come up with an organizational plan that works for you, and only list. This was something I thought about after we were done talking. I think you should only list on the number of platforms that you feel comfortable being able to manage. So if you think you're only going to be able to keep track of, say, eBay, Poshmark, and GOAT, I wouldn't go any further than that. Maybe you take 6 months, a year, whatever makes you feel good, and then you investigate a 4th one. Because in the end, as we talked about, if you can't keep track of what sells and things like that, then you run the risk of it selling on another platform, and then you're scrambling to either find a replacement or canceling a sale, or risking negative feedback, or whatever the platform uses. So I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely good advice. And let's see what the chat says regarding cross listings. I do have a theory though. Let's go back to the GOAT thing. So you took them off. Let's say you're going on vacation mode, and then you put them, you let it go, put it on. What are the 2? So let's say the 2 shoes. Were you the lowest ask? You can remember.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
Only because on GOAT, I tend to price more aggressively.
Okay.
I'm not trying to get out of them as fast as possible. If I have something up on GOAT or StockX, I have them priced aggressively. And especially if I'm on StockX, I don't want to be like, if I know I'm getting close to that, because you get emails that say like, oh, somebody puts in a new bid. As that number starts getting closer to my number, I might go back in and say, all right, obviously people really want this. The number keeps going up and up and up. So I'm going to raise my price a little bit more. If I don't see those emails coming in, then I back it back down. But I wouldn't think that I was the lowest on GOAT when those 2 sold. One of them was a pair of 720 in that sunset, the orange colorway that I'd had for a while. I think I sold them for $125 or $130, something like that. I wouldn't think that was the lowest price on those. And what was the other? I can't remember what the other one was. I just remember that one. But no, I wouldn't think so.
Okay. So I'm wondering if, let's say if you are at 125, what if the next one was at 160? And let's say you went on vacation mode. So this is you vacation mode. You went away, you were at 125. The next one was at 160. Now maybe someone that was like looking to buy a shoe was at 160. Yeah. They're like, oh crap, this thing went up, $30 already, $25. What do I do? Maybe I should buy them. And then the next day you came back.
Right.
You're like, oh, here I am.
Yeah.
I never went away. I'm 125. And like, you know what? I better get it now before it goes back.
Right. Yeah, no, that's completely, possible. That's why a lot of times on eBay, I don't know if you guys do it, but stuff that I've made, maybe it's gone through a 30-month or 30-day or 60-day cycle, take it down, relist it. It says shows up as newly listed, gets a little bit more visibility. I promote all my listings anyway, but again, it's going to jump it up even further. And I do notice that I don't have a crazy amount of success with it, but I have noticed that from time to time, items that I do that with do tend to sell.
Yeah. Right. So what other platforms are you selling on? Because we're getting some more questions regarding platforms.
So right now, I do GOAT and StockX. I don't do a ton on StockX normally because I'm not picking up stuff that are new in the box. My outlet closest to me before the pandemic hit, they're actually remodeling the outlet. So I don't think Nike is sending them new stuff because I went in there. I think the last time I went in there, it was nothing but like Reacts, like the whole way down the men's section and club level cleats and things like that. So, but anyway, so I use those two, but for everything else, I'm on eBay, Mercari. I just started back up with Mercari because I think using pirate ship allows, because I'm not a fan of the way Mercari handles their shipping or that process. So yeah, so being able to use pirate ship and just handle that myself allows, at least for me, Mercari to be an option again. Depop, which again, I saw a lot of vintage stuff, so that's why I'm on there. Grailed, I've tried Grailed. I've sold a couple of things. I'm not aggressively putting stuff out there on that. And if there was one that I was going to get rid of, it would be that. And then I'm also on Poshmark. And I would say for me, eBay, again, because of the reach, is always going to be number one. But Poshmark has been really good to me since I started. I've probably been on 6-7 months or so.
Okay.
And I've been happy with that. I like the fact that baked into the fees that they take are the shipping. It's a prepaid 4-pound label. So if you're selling something heavy, which I don't know what you would sell on Poshmark, that's super heavy. But you have that space in the amount for your shipping costs. The convenience of that is really nice. But yeah, those are the platforms I'm using. I do like Depop too. Like I said, the last time I was on, I saw a lot of vintage t-shirts, and Depop has been, I think even if you just sell clothing in general, it's a really good site to look into. The fees are only 10%. Again, I do my shipping through pirate ship. So I'm not paying that much more than I would be paying on eBay, and I'm paying 3% less.
Yeah.
How's the listing to Depop? How's the process? Is it like Poshmark?
Yeah, it's very similar to Poshmark, and actually you only have the ability. I don't know if you want to say it's a downside, but when you're listing a lot of things, you're only allowed to show 4 photos. So like I hate having to take measurements of clothing. I know why we have to do it, but it's a pain in the butt.
Right.
So what I used to do was I would take the measurements, and on a dry erase board, I'd write down the measurements, and I would include that in one of my photos. Well, only having 4 photos, if I'm selling like a graphic tee that has, I want to show the front,
tag,
the graphic, the back, and the tag. That's my 4 photos. So now
write it down.
I have to write it down. I put it in the description for everything, and I end up cutting and pasting everywhere anyway. So if I list it on Depop, I cut that and put it on Poshmark, and I cut it again, and just to save time. But I like Depop. And I've sold, I mean, there's definitely people on there looking for sneakers. You're going to run into a little bit more of a international because it's based in Great Britain. So I have gotten a lot of questions about, do you ship to Thailand? Do you ship to these different places? Right now I'm not dealing with international shipping. I've been writing people back and just saying, due to the coronavirus epidemic, I'm not shipping internationally right now. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Just copy everything from the other retailers that are doing. Just copy.
Right, yeah.
Blame everything Corona.
Yeah, and a couple of people responded. They were like, "Oh yeah, I should have known that." Yeah, it's just like I don't know what to say. But when this thing goes away, I'm going to lose a lot of excuses for doing things.
Oh man, it's hilarious.
So, yeah, like even I put it there, like when I'm doing negotiations, especially in Mercari, and I say like, this is my final price, but I can ship today or tomorrow morning. And then they get really excited. Now there's like a plus to ship your items on time.
Right. Yeah. I said to somebody in the chat that because you guys were talking about best offer versus buy it now, I do everything best offer because at least for me, yeah, the haggling is a pain at times. Especially the low ballers who they'll say $10. I'm like, no, $100, and they come back with $11. I get it; it's a hassle. Right. But if that little bit of haggling I have to do leads to a sale, I'm okay with that. And it allows me to price more aggressively. So if I have a t-shirt up for say $50 and somebody comes in and offers me $45, I'm okay with that. Right. I probably would have been okay at $40.
Right.
But if somebody wants to go to and buy it at $50, I'm still up on it. So
I think if you're that person that really gets annoyed with the low ballers, just set parameters, right? Decline anything over, if you're selling a $50 item, decline everything under 25.
Yeah, you can set your settings to do that ahead of time, so you don't even get those things. I don't mind getting the low ball offers because there's sometimes none of us know the exact price of everything that we sell. So if there's something that I've had for a long time and maybe I have it listed for $50 and someone comes in and offers me $35, start going, you know what? Let me look here, and I might do some research or just go, you know what? I just want to be out of this thing. Take it for $5. That's why I like having the best offer function up.
So where you're at, how does sourcing look like, or stores look like? Anything that you've heard or know as far as getting out there again?
In Pennsylvania, they're doing like a reopening based on kind of how your county is doing. So on the 8th, they're reopening most of northwestern Pennsylvania, kind of the Lake Erie region, down to like where Penn State University is and a little bit like that. Everyone kind of thinks then after that, though, the next week it'll be a few more and a few more. I'm closer to Philly, where the worst of the epidemic in the state has been. So I'm not anticipating being cool to even think about stores being opened until maybe the 22nd or so of May. So, I mean, there hasn't been anything that it's going to be any sooner than that.
Okay. But let me ask you this question. If let's say they did open, all stores open, would you be out there?
When this first happened, somebody, I think maybe you posed the question on the live show, and I was sitting watching with my wife, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah.
I'm going." And she looked at me like right away and was going like, no, you're not. You're not going anywhere. As she sneaks in. There's my wife. Thrift Wife Life on Instagram. Anyway, hang on, guys. All right. Yeah, I have kids. But now I don't think I would. There's just, while yes, the risk has lessened, being that I have a family. Obviously, if I get sick, the risk of bringing it home to my kids, my wife, and I live with my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my nephew who work. One's a postman, one runs a Starbucks, and my wife works at a furniture store. So they've all been going to work their normal schedules. Okay. I don't want to run the risk that I go out and get it, bring it to them. We've been trying to be very careful about, hand washing and things like that. Their jobs make them take particular precautions. So I feel like I have to treat my job the same way. So I want to take those same types of precautions. So right now, I've got plenty of inventory that I can still work off of. I would like to have more sneakers right now. Right. I'm noticing my shelves getting lower and lower, and I don't sell at the level you guys are, but I can see that my inventory shrinking. But right now, I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. Well, interesting. I wanted to definitely hear your point of view and see what you kind of thought about that. But we talked about that too, I think, yesterday in the live show. Having a family, having kids, even if you have elders too, you're probably not going to want to be out there. And, it's everyone's personal preference. We don't really know.
That's right. And I have friends who live on the western side of the state, and they're jonesing to get out. Kids are not. They can't stand being cooped up in the house. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to me how this whole thing has brought so many different viewpoints. We were all united at the start, like, yep, we'll all stay home, cool. And everybody had their own timeline, like, I'll stay home for 5 days or I'll stay home for 10 days. Like, and now everyone's kind of reached their boiling point. But for now, I'm cool.
It shows how impatient people are, really.
Right. I told my friends, I said, listen, other than the fact that my oldest is home and not at school, nothing's really changed for me. I work from out of the house. I watch my youngest daughter, like, other than I'm washing my hands 68 times a day, like nothing else has really changed too much for me.
I mean, we got to the point that we're just running around our house, right? Like literally we're running around just to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just trying to, like, people are out on the sidewalk walking, and I'm just trying to, like, keep them away, like, because they're running around the yard, and I'm just like, get away from people. People are like, everyone's like spreading out from each other. It's just weird. But I said, they're not used to being home with their kids 7 days a week, and I'm totally used to it. So, while I have you guys, I did want to ask one question. Did you guys how were your weekend sales? Because yesterday, I started a YouTube channel. I was making a video. I was going to do what I sold this week, and I just broke it down to what I sold on Sunday. I had 14 orders on Sunday, and I've never had that type of volume. And I was wondering if you guys saw, a large pop this weekend.
Honestly, like, sneakers have been slow, I think, within the last week for me. But crazy enough, like, since I talked about, like, going around our house trying to sell clothing, we've actually sold a bunch of clothing. A lot of the Nike items that I bought for myself that I really didn't want it. I just sold it. So I did sell a lot of clothing. I've noticed I've had a lot more poly bags than boxes this time around.
Yeah. My mailman just picked mine up with my 14 orders. It was 11 poly bags. It was T-shirts and things like that. But
yeah, I think 2 weeks ago was a big, weekend sale. I don't know, for some reason, like, a lot of, like, just random Air Max stuff was selling. This weekend, though, I mean, it wasn't bad, but wasn't the best. It was kind of in between.
Yeah,
I think on our end.
Yeah, I'm not used to having crazy days like that. Like, I have good days and things like that, but to sell even at not a crazy price point, they were like $25, $30 type items. It was just bizarre because I would sit there. I was like, oh, I sold this. And then, like, my phone would go off again. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? I think people got that stimulus check. Right. They sat on it. And now the states are opening back up. And they're like, yep, let's spend that stimulus check.
Well, right. I mean, that's like what I said on the other day's show. One more stimulus check.
One more.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You said that last night. You were like, we just need one more.
Yeah, one more.
So it's like it can be like half of the last one. It doesn't need to be the whole thing. Just like it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and definitely,
no problem, guys.
We're gonna come back again next Monday and share anything else, crazy goat stories or anything you want to say. All for it.
I don't know how crazy that story was, but it just, like I said, it just made me laugh. That here I am, like, okay, I'll give this a try, and boom. So,
all right, I appreciate it.
Well, before you go, I want to just say Poshmark, eBay. See if, like, they blow up now. Okay. Now that I just blew them up, I want to see.
Now that you talked about them,
right? Yeah. Reverse the curse. All right, guys, have a good one.
All right, have a good one. See ya.
Bye.
All right, pretty cool. Good to have him on. Still kicking sports.
Right.
There we go. In the chat, I think we had a couple of questions coming in. So before we go, And let me see, where are we? I think someone asked about, Sneaker Finds 12, about Marshall's opening in South Carolina. If anybody knows, that'll be interesting.
I know somebody that went home to North Carolina from our church. They said everything's normal there.
Well,
They,
my cousins are in. Remember we went to South Carolina? Yeah, I gotta see how that is out there.
Sure, but over there, he said everything's normal there. Yeah, like they even got a haircut.
So South Carolina is popping apparently.
Well, I guess it just depends on like the talk about Marshalls, like they're huge corporations that's nationwide. So I don't think they have we haven't heard anything on how they're gonna roll it out. Are they gonna open less stores to begin with, or wait until the end and open everything?
Yeah. Smooth sailing. No snack of the day. What's going on with B? It's a snack of the day.
I just ate lunch. So that's why I just had my coffee and some water. So after this will be snack time.
All right. Zombies, did y'all cop any of the Luka Jordan 1 mids? That was insane. B didn't think they were gonna. I kind of figured they would a little bit because everyone's just hyped up about them.
Right.
We're not. I don't know. I don't really like them from a style standpoint, but
that's the curse of being a sneakerhead, Glenn. Because we're prejudiced. We got preconceived judgment about style of everything and everything like that. And then now I guess I gotta remind myself. Think as a reseller, whatever. But man, I do, because they didn't sell out right away.
No, they didn't.
We were able to cart them and everything like that. And then I remember like waking up half awake. I was like, Luka. I was like, crap, Luka. So I went to the link right away, and as soon as I saw it, I was like mismatched color, green, all white shoe. Like it doesn't even look Dallas at all. Like what has to do with Luka being green? And then why is it named Mindfulness?
I think it had to do with his what was the team that he was on before? I think it had to do something with. I don't even look into everything.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I was like, I shrugged it off and I went back to sleep. As soon as I woke up,
they're gone. Yeah, and Soulfed, which we know he probably got.
Whatever. Soulfed, you didn't DM me. That's why.
Smooth sailing. What do you think? And B, about resell on Jordan 1 mids and Air Fear of God. Well, the triple black Fear of God, we talked about that one in the live show. That we're like Jordan 1 mids. We did see in the video, at least at my mall, a lot of the mids were still sitting. So it really depends on the colorway, because some people are getting mids, but some of them are just they have been sitting for a long time.
Some of them are into mids, like Jake.
Here we go with Jake. Back to Jake. I didn't know there were Luka shoes.
Exactly.
I got 2 of them. Exactly.
Oh, Suzuki got the Supreme cutout logo. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Nice. Let's see. Cutthroat used to sell my Supreme strictly on StockX. Decided to post them on eBay. Everything sold within 1 week, and I made more than I would on StockX. Plus, I got paid right away.
Oh, I got Supreme stuff. I'm gonna sell it there.
There we go, Stevie D.
Hey, that flex, boy.
Stevie D with that flex. And the Jordan Chicago mid ones are going up big time, which I agree. Mm-hmm. I think NBA Store actually restocked today or yesterday, and they were gone quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, look out for that and seeing the restocks. Appreciate everybody that was here.
Like I am stopping myself from buying mids, and just because of Corona, like I can't buy mids. I can't resell mids.
You gotta get in those mids. You can and you will.
Whatever.
All right, so we'll see you guys on Wednesday when we do the live show and going through all the listings, talking about the mini floods, which the B likes that one, and everybody else seems pretty like that one. So we can go back and see how those are doing. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit, over an hour. And anything you want to say?
No, just stay sane.
All right, go ahead and get it.